I want to go at the ISIS problem from a different perspective now. Senator Bernie Sanders is an independent from Vermont. He joins me as Senator Sanders. I think it's fair to say and describe you as a dove, but you have also warned that you think ISIS is a dangerous and lethal operation and needs to be stopped. Tell me, as you look at what's happening now, and that is that while the air assaults continue and have some effect on their targets, they don't seem to be slowing ISIS in any way. What's your next move?
Well, Candy, I think the main point to be made is, of course, ISIS is a brutal, awful, dangerous army, and they have got to be defeated. But, Candy, this is not just an American problem. This is an international crisis. This is a regional crisis. And I think the people of America are getting sick and tired of the world and the region, Saudi Arabia and the other countries, saying, hey, we don't have to do anything about it. The American taxpayer and American soldiers will do all the work for us. Most people don't know is that Saudi Arabia is the fourth largest defense spender in the world, more than the UK, more than France. They have an army which is probably 7 times larger than ISIS. They have a major air force. Their country is run by a royal family worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
Sure, but they've shown no sign at all that they want to go in, and neither have the Jordanians, although they seem a little more interested, or the Turks. And so I'm just wondering, since everyone agrees there needs to be ground forces of some sort that are effective, whether if those Arab nations don't step forward as you want them to do and come in on the ground, does the U.S. then pull out its airstrikes? I mean, how do you handle that?
Well, here's the question that we have got to ask is, why are the nations in the region not more actively involved? Why don't they see this as a crisis situation? Here's the danger, Candy. If the Middle East people perceive this as the United States versus ISIS, the West versus East, Christianity versus Islam, we're going to lose that war. This is a war for the soul of Islam, and the Muslim nations must be deeply involved. And to the degree that developed countries are involved, it should be the UK, France, Germany, other countries as well. So I worry very much, and I go out around Vermont and around the country, and people are saying, yeah, we're concerned about ISIS, but we're also concerned about the collapse of the American middle class and infrastructure, which is falling apart, the need to create jobs in America. We can't do it alone. It has to be an international and a regional coalition.
Well, in fact, I mean, the president and his administration have collected any number of nations, both in Europe and Arab nations, who say, we support you and we support this idea of going against ISIS. And some countries have said, we'll help you train some troops. We'll give you money. We'll provide a training base. But at the end of the day, what's needed is folks on the ground. I wonder what you think of Senator McCain saying what we need is a much more aggressive, much more expansive airstrikes from the U.S.-led coalition. We need to arm the Peshmerga, and we do need to have more, not U.S. battalions of troops, not a group marching in, but more of those advisors and more of those people who can tell the air assaults where they should go.
See,
what about that role for America?
It's a problem for the international community. And you asked me a moment ago, why aren't other countries more deeply involved? I will tell you why.
Okay.
Because they believe that the American taxpayers are going to do it, and American soldiers ultimately will do it. And as long as that signal is out there, that is what's going to happen. I want the Saudi Arabian government to be actively involved. I want their troops to be on the ground. I don't want them to believe that we're going to do it for them. So yes, I think we have to play a very strong and supportive role with the UK, with France, with Canada, with other countries. It cannot and should not be the United States alone.
And as far as the role so far that the U.S. is playing, is that too far for you, or just about right? I mean, we're leading the air assault.
I think the president, it is very easy to criticize the president, but this is an enormously complicated issue. We are here today because of the disastrous blunder of the Bush-Cheney era, which got us into this war in Iraq in the first place, which then developed the can of worms that we're trying to deal with right now. So I think, again, it has to be an international effort. I think the United States, along with other countries, have got to play an active role. ISIS is a terribly dangerous organization.
And
we have to do it internationally and regionally.
And if that support is not there in terms of the ground troops that you're calling for, from the Saudis, the Turks, the Jordanians, etc., if that help is not forthcoming on the ground, then does the U.S. pull out? It seems to me it's a catch-22 to say, hey, you know, somebody has to deal with this, but it shouldn't be us. So, but it's dangerous and it is a threat to us. So when does the U.S. step back?
It is a threat to us. It is a threat to the UK, maybe even a greater threat, and to France. And so long as the word is out that people think we're going to do it, they're not going to step up to the plate. So I think what the United States has got to demand, yeah, we're going to be in this thing, not with troops on the ground, but with air attack support and other support, arming those people who need to be armed. But you guys are going to have to get into this as well.
So would you support broader airstrikes, and would you support arming, it sounds like you would, arming the Peshmerga, the Kurdish forces?
Yes. I think we should arm, and even that's a difficult issue, to make sure that the people that we arm today don't turn against us tomorrow. But I think providing arms to those people who we can trust and providing air support is, in fact, something we should be doing.
But for you, would it be confined to the Peshmerga? I know that you voted against arming and training Syrian rebels. So is there a difference to you between the Peshmerga and the Syrian rebels?
Here's where I am. We have been at war for 12 years. We have spent trillions of dollars. I'm chairman of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. We have 500,000 young men and women who have come home with PTSD and TBI. What I do not want, and I fear very much, is the United States getting sucked into a quagmire and being involved in perpetual warfare year after year after year. That is my fear.
Senator Bernie Sanders, I thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Come see us in Washington.
Okay.
Next up, we will ask our